It's time to finally find out what you think is the best LucasArts adventure game ever. Hey guys, welcome to YakWaxLips. My name is Michael, your point-and-click adventurer, and this is a video where we take a look at all 14 point-and-click adventure games released by LucasArts in late 80s and early 90s, as judged by you. If this is your first time here on YakWaxLips, this is the kind of thing that I do. I talk about point-and-click adventure games all day, every day. So if you love to point-and-click, please do smash that like, hit subscribe for more, and do turn on the bell because I make loads of these videos. Over on Twitter, I asked a simple question: which LucasArts adventure game is the best? I asked 6,500 followers to name their top 3. I spent over an hour collating all the information yesterday, and the results are pretty surprising. So let's count down the top 14 point-and-click adventure games from LucasArts. The scoring system I've used is if someone says a game is their favourite, it gets 3 points. If it's their second favourite, it gets 2. And if it's their third, it gets 1. Without further ado, let's jump into the results and see, for a final time, the definitive top 14 point-and-click adventure games from LucasArts. Is it a surprise that Escape from Monkey Island is bottom of the pile at number 14? Probably not. The fourth Adventures of Guybrush Threepwood is a pretty good adventure game, but it struggled with the 3D aspect, and generally storytelling, it's not the strongest. Still, it's definitely worth a play, and it doesn't really justify the hate that it gets these days. It was also the final adventure game that LucasArts released before they closed shop, and maybe they didn't really have the heart for it. They were moving on to a bunch of other different kind of games. Out of a total score of 749 spread amongst all the votes, this one just gets 6.
This diagram clearly indicates you need a monkey head. I am a human head.
Just a smidge behind Escape from Monkey Island, with just 8 points, is Zak McCracken and the Alien Mind Menders. This whirlwind adventure is crazy, and is probably near the bottom of the pile for a few reasons. It was one of LucasArts' early games, back then known as Lucasfilm Games, and so it has dead ends. I remember walking around for ages not knowing what to do, and it's because I was stuck. I was in a dead end. This one was really tricky, but it had a fantastic plot. But maybe the plot was just a little too wacky. Numerous characters, several locations, and you even go to space. Maybe a little bit ahead of its time. At number 12, and with 12 points, comes Maniac Mansion. The game that kickstarted LucasArts adventure games and created the Scum engine. This was the first adventure game to use the Scum engine with all the verbs at the bottom. This was Ron Gilbert's first foray into adventure games too. Today, it is seen as a bit of a classic, and it was even ported to the NES. It spouted a spin-off TV series and a sequel. We'll come to that sequel later. Let me know who you played as well, because the great thing about this is you can play as several different characters in any combination you like. What Maniac Mansion and Zak McCracken did fantastic is the intro music. Listen to this. Just missing out on the top 10 is the first adventures of Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The Last Crusade follows the story of the film pretty close, but it suffers from early LucasArts syndrome, i.e. a few dead ends and quite a bit of pixel hunting. There's also the occasional fight scene. It does do a fantastic job of dropping you into the shoes of Indiana Jones though, so that's always a good thing. Before we drop into the top 10, please don't forget to like this video, it really helps. Just 1 point ahead of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, at number 10 is The Dig. This is often seen as the black sheep in the LucasArts family. Mostly the adventure games were seen as fun and slapstick, but this one goes serious. It's also based on a script that Steven Spielberg initially wanted to make into a film. It had a fairly troubled production and was being developed for about 6 years. If you want to know more about The Dig, check out Cannot Be Tamed's video about it. It's brilliant. The logic puzzles here can be quite annoying, but I love the soundtrack, I love the art, And I love these characters.
Can we breathe it? Our suits are checking that automatically. Here we are. Yes, it's at least as breathable as the air in LA.
The whimsical fantasy Loom comes at number 9. Loom was a lot of people's third favourite game, and for good reasons. It's unique, fairly easy to get into, and pretty short. We've not really seen anything like it since. Using your D-staff to create spells and weave music to solve puzzles. The original version also had a 30-minute audio play which you can hear on YouTube. It sets the scene and introduces us to the backstory.
I've never known them to weave such a bright messenger nymph. I wonder why the elders want to see me.
It's time to rock on at number 8 with Full Throttle.
Yeah, when I think of Marine, I think of two things. Asphalt and Trouble.
Tim Schafer's first solo foray into adventure games is this classic biker adventure. It was the first time that LucasArts did away with the verbs at the bottom and instead added a verb coin, or patch here. Not only did it have a killer soundtrack from the Gone Jackals, but also some grade A voice actors, including Luke Skywalker himself. Put it all together with a plot that involves the main character being framed for murder, and it becomes a classic. One of the main gripes about it is it can be completed in just a few short hours, and unfortunately the planned sequels never saw the light of day. I'll be making a video about that soon. And would you believe it, number 6 and 7 got exactly the same score on the votes. So this is split by the amount of people that have voted for it, and so at number 7 is The Curse of Monkey Island. A drastic graphics change and a different direction. Guybrush Threepwood is introduced to a whole new generation with this art style, and many had this as the first Monkey Island game they'd ever played. No longer was Ron Gilbert at the helm, as the torch had been passed to Larry Ahern and Jonathan Ackley. And they did a fantastic job. Guybrush, LeChuck and Elaine are reunited for their third adventure, and this one introduces the fantastic Murray.
I'm cursed too. Let's join our cursed forces together, and together we can rule the world.
So on the same score as The Curse of Monkey Island, but just a few more people voted for it. And number 6 is Sam and Max Hit the Road. Sam and Max were already a thing when this was released. They had cameos in The Last Crusade and also The Secret of Monkey Island, plus they had comic books and other things going for them. Creator Steve Purcell though was asked to create a computer game, and Sam and Max Hit the Road was it.
This doesn't look like the Lincoln Tunnel, Sam. Looks to me like a marginally volatile hostage situation, Max.
The maniacal Max and carefree Sam make a fantastic team, and people fell in love with them. The story also saw us hop around the United States of America, and from someone who was born in the middle of England, it was pretty cool to see these fun, famous locations on screen. It's time for the top 5 now, and if you've enjoyed this video, come over and support me on Patreon. It's the Land of the Dead where our destination lies at number 5. Grim Fandango is Tim Schafer's second adventure game on the list. The story of crime and corruption in the Land of the Dead is his magnum opus, often cited as one of the best adventure games ever. Manny Calavera and Glotis are a perfect team, and the noir atmosphere, Peter McConnell's soundtrack, and intriguing plot surely make this a classic.
Well, I'll let you get back to practicing.
I don't need to practice, man. I'm good.
The Man with the Whip and Hat comes at number 4 again, with Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
All right, Jones, how you gonna find that statue and all this junk?
This was the first time that Indiana Jones had been seen outside of the screen on a new adventure. He can also do it along with his sidekick Sophia Hapgood, or he doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. One of the great things about Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is the 3 paths. You get to choose whether you want to go along with Sophia in a team path, whether you'd rather use your wits by yourself, or whether your fists are going to do the talking. Once you've completed it, you can go back to the beginning and complete it in a whole new way. Not only was this unique at the time, all 3 strands lead Indy into a fantastic story. Coupled with great voice acting and music, this game is a surefire classic. it's time for the top 3. We have a couple of Monkey Island games and a sequel in here. So what comes at number 3? Day of the Tentacle from Tim Schafer and David Grossman hits number 3. This is a sequel to the very first LucasArts game, Maniac Mansion, but it's only loosely based on it. I didn't even know it was a sequel until years later. 3 playable characters, time-spanning plot, hilarious jokes, and classic baddies. This is pure perfection and is still a game that I would highly recommend to play today. Do I even need to mention the fantastic voice acting, the zany visuals, and of course, who can forget Purple Tentacle?
I feel like I could. Like I could. Like I could. Take on the world.
So we're down to the top 2. There was not many votes between this, and if I had left it for another day, they may have switched places. So what's at number 2? Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge.
Well. Guybrush Threepwood, you do turn up in the strangest places.
Hi, Elaine.
This exceptional sequel plants Guybrush in the middle of a new adventure looking for Big Whoop. Once more, he's a hapless pirate, maybe with a little bit more confidence this time, but he's still good old Guybrush. Scab, fat, booty. I say these words and it brings a smile to my face. Technically, it was the first time iMuse was used, where the music would change depending on where you walked in the scene. This was pipped to the post by just 8 votes, with 127. So that means, at number 1, it's The Secret of Monkey Island. Somewhere deep in the Caribbean. Is there a better opening to a game ever? A young wannabe pirate turns up on a dark island and we're thrust into the adventure straight away. The Scum Bar, Ghost Pirates, Piranha Poodles. To this day, the music still sends a shiver down my spine. This was a game that kickstarted not only the Monkey Island series, but really, adventure games. It is always held up as one of the best, and for me, it is the best. Was that your top 14? Would you have put them in a different order? Let me know down in the comments. And yes, of course, I didn't add Labyrinth at the start because whose favourite game is Labyrinth? That was a whole bunch of fun, guys. If you want to take part in this kind of stuff, head on over to my Twitter and come and follow me. I also have Discord, Instagram, Facebook, all the socials. And if you really love this kind of content, then come and support me over on Patreon and you get your name at the end of the credits and get extra stuff too. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon or evening, whatever it is you're doing right now. Take care.